Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesdays. I'm your host, R. Joshua Reynolds, the Communications Specialist here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. And today, I've got a really special guest with me today. He is Mr. Excitement himself. He is a Chief Excitement Officer here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, and he's going to talk to you about how to get over objections. When someone says no, he's going to tell you how to get a yes. So without any further ado, I'm going to give the microphone to Mr. Coleman, and then we're going to bring up a presentation, and he's going to walk you through, and by next week, your sales are going to double. All right, here's Mr. Excitement, Mr. Jim Coleman.
Well, hello, everybody out there. It is good to see you. Happy New Year to you. What a great way to kick off this year, to share some ideas that I've been using for the last 40 years on how to tackle objections. Oftentimes when you're out there and you're trying to sell your product, you're trying to get the customer to understand the value of what you have to offer, whether it's a product or a service. Oftentimes you're hit with objections, and we're going to share with you some really neat ways on how to tackle 4 common objections. Before I get into my presentation, I want to share with you what I've learned over the last 40 years, and where I've gotten all this kind of experience on tackling objections. As you know, I'm the Chief Excitement Officer for the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. I have to tackle objections every single day in this job because we're working hard to be able to help you to get the financing, the tools you need to be able to help you to grow and expand. But at the same time, I'm oftentimes going outside of Prince George's County over into Washington, D.C., as well as we're across the Potomac, the Pacific, the Atlantic, talking to companies outside of Prince George's County. And I have to sell them on all of the incredible aspects of Prince George's County. And oftentimes, after I finish my presentation, they'll have objections. And I'm able to use these same tools that I've learned over 40 years ago to be able to help to close deals. Last year, we closed over 30 deals and brought about 30 new companies here to Prince George's County. And my team and I have to tackle objections on a daily basis to get through to these major CEOs to get them to move here. So I want to kind of share with you on the screen that's going to come up in just a moment, a little bit of a flavor of what I've been doing over the last 40 years to kind of give you an idea of where I'm coming from. I grew up on a little pig farm in Lexington, Kentucky, and that's where I learned how to not tackle just hogs, but objections. And so you can see down there at the bottom, I'm a hog farmer, and I still own that farm. My great-grandfather purchased it back in 1888, and it's called Coleman Farm. I became the manager of that farm when I was 12 years old, and I've never looked back. And I did everything in the world on the farm to help it to be successful. I helped my father raise the pigs and cows and sheep. We did deals with all kinds of other companies and other farms to be able to get us all the supplies and all the things we needed to make our farm successful and productive. I went to Howard University, and that's where I met my best friend in the world, County Executive Sharon Baker, back in 1978, and I finished in 83. And then I went to work for Oscar Mayer Company as a sales rep. Went out to Madison, Wisconsin. Then I got my first big sales job in New York City. And then from there, I got promoted to a job called on all of the commissaries here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, and Maryland and Virginia as an account supervisor. And that's where I really had to start learning how to use these skills on how to tackle objections. Then I got a big job with Pepsi-Cola USA up in Philadelphia. I ended my career there after about 8 years as a regional sales manager. And I had to go in to talk to supermarkets, convenience stores, hotels, everybody that would buy Pepsi. I had to sell them on the value proposition behind why buy Pepsi and why we're better than the competition. At the time, of course, was Coca-Cola, and private label was growing like crazy. So I had to really sell aggressively on why Pepsi and what could it do in helping to satisfy your business needs and to help your business to grow. Then I left Pepsi to go to work for Philip Morris USA, had several positions there. I was there for about 5 years, but at the end of my tenure with Philip Morris USA, I was the director of sales for the states of Kentucky and Indiana. And I had a team of about 100 sales reps. And again, we were out there in the market every single day, going into convenience stores, helping to set up displays, selling our products and services. And I had to teach my team, as well as I had to demonstrate how to tackle objections. And then from there, I became the vice president of sales for the Western region for American Express. And I was in American Express for about 3 years. Then I got out into the .com era, and then I also got into public service, and that's what landed me here in Prince George's County about 18 months ago. And I am having a blast because I can make a big difference every day in helping you to be able to close deals, drive sales, make you up with a lot of our 14 federal agencies, help you to literally do what we're going to do today, which is to talk about some neat ways of how to tackle customer objections. Josh, why don't we go to the next slide here?
All right.
Before I get into objections and what the four types are, I want to cover off everything I'm going to say today, and we'll do a couple of more webinars over the following year. But everything that I do on a daily basis is based on customer needs. And I encourage all of you to really know exactly what your customers' needs are. If you know what their needs are, there stands to be a greater chance you won't have customer objections. But even when you have objections that come up, you want to be able to respond by being able to explain how their needs will be satisfied with your product or your solution. There are two types of customer needs. One, on the left-hand side, would be business needs. Business needs involve everything related to your customer's business. First thing that they're concerned about is improving sales revenue, profit, how to get more customers, cash flow. You know, you can have a profitable business, but a profitable business can go out of business if you don't have your customers paying you on time. So cash flow, having enough in your bank account to meet payroll and to cover your rent is very important. So cash flow is king. Capital, making sure that you've got financing, productive employees. You want to make sure that your employees are inspired, they're excited, that they are making a big difference for your customers every day, because if your employees aren't doing a good job, you're going to be out of business real soon. Business owners are also concerned about controlling and reducing costs, being more productive, protecting yourself from risk, compliance with federal and state and local regulations, and free from debt. So those are the business needs. So I encourage you, when you're out there talking to your customers, to please make sure that you say these types of things when you're talking about your product or service, that you really explain to them how it's going to help them on each of these different types of business needs. Now, there's a whole nother side of customer needs, and that's personal needs. And these personal needs are just as important as the business needs. And they involve everything that are related to specifically their personal life. And what customers are looking for would be empathy and sympathy, that you understand where they're coming from, that you understand their challenges. You may not agree with what they're saying, but you're doing your best to put yourself in their shoes to where they know that you care about them, to be understood, to be respected. It's very important for you to demonstrate respect and not just to say, hey, you did a good job on X, Y, Z, but to really be specific and sincere about, here's what I saw about your company. I saw that you increased your number of employees by 20 because you won that big federal contract. Congratulations. I knew that you could do it. You're a great leader in the market, and I know that you'll continue to grow in the future. That's demonstrating respect and also acknowledging their success, which is also important. Appreciating your customers. That can be as simple as thank you, showing up to meet with them on time, sending a follow-up letter to them, sending them a thank you card. A lot of people don't do it today, but if you can send a thank you card, a written thank you card to your customers, they will feel appreciated and they will feel loved and admired. Being admired is an all-time driver in building relationships with your customers. So if you see your customers in the newspaper or on TV, sending them a note saying, hey, I saw you on CTV or the Prince George's County Post, and it was amazing on the story. Congratulations. And if you could send that to them with a copy of that article, you've got your customers for life. Also, to be protected, that they feel like you're on their side. And then a lot of times, if they're working for a company where it may not be their particular company, they're focused on how do I get ahead? How can I get promoted in my company? So you can really make a big difference if you're showing your customers how, if they choose your product or service, that it will help them to meet their objectives for the company, and as a result, will help them to get promoted, which leads into job security. If you're working for somebody and you've got a customer in, let's say, a retail outlet or a retail chain, and they're a buyer, their concern is making sure that they don't make mistakes and that they hold on to their jobs until they decide to leave or that they can retire there. So we all, as sales professionals, have a big impact every single day, being able to enhance the ability for ourselves to be able to satisfy business needs and personal needs. Okay, Josh, let's move to the next slide.
Right.
Now we're going to get into talking specifically about tackling customer objections. The main reason of why we want to understand how to tackle objections is that we want to be able to listen and better respond to our customers' objections when they do come up. So that's a very important reason of why we need to understand how to even tackle these objections. The next is that we want to resolve these objections as quickly as possible in real time when we're meeting with our customers. So we can proceed on with asking for the order. Every single time you meet with your customer, You want to actually ask for orders. You want to be able to ask for a purchase order so that you can move forward in sending them an invoice, get the product or service shipped to them so that you can take care of their needs and continue to increase your revenue in your company. When is a good time to tackle customer objections? There are 4 times that are best in being able to use the techniques that we're going to talk about today. And the first one is when your customer doesn't have all the facts. When they're telling you, hey, I thought you said you were going to be here on Wednesday, and that's why I'm here. And apparently something happened when you know that maybe you had really scheduled the meeting for Thursday. You've got to be able to tell them the facts. You know, sir, I'm sorry that you thought I was going to be here on Wednesday, but as we had agreed to 2 weeks ago when we were together, as well as in the email that I sent you after our meeting, we both confirmed that we were going to meet on Thursday. And so you want to be able to provide the facts, whether it's about that kind of situation or some kind of feature or product, feature about your product or service. You want to be able to always provide the facts when they don't have the correct information. The next time that a customer objection could come up is when they're indifferent. Indifferent is like at Pepsi. You know, I would walk into different companies or retail outlet or restaurant where, specifically a restaurant where they would only serve either Pepsi or Coke. They would tell me, why do I need Pepsi when I've already got Coke? They're indifferent. They don't see a need to change when you want to tackle objections. The next is that when your customers just don't believe you, you've laid out the facts, you're thinking you're doing a good job in the presentation, all of a sudden they're like, you know what, this is not going to work for me. I don't believe it's going to work. I don't believe your facts. I don't believe what you told me is true. You've got to be able to help them to understand that what you're saying is true. And I'm going to share with you in a little while on how to do that. The next one and the last is when your customer expresses a concern. Now that concern is a negative aspect about your product or service. It can involve everything from the packaging of your product. It could be the price. It could be how you structure your invoice. It could be the times of when you can deliver your product and service to them. So all of these are areas of concern that may come up, and we're going to talk about how to get around those concerns. The how part is that the first thing that you want to do when you get hit with a customer objection is that you want to clarify the objection. You want to make sure that what you've heard is an actual objection. The second is that you want to determine the type of objection. We're going to go through 4 different types of objections today, and you want to really quickly in your mind in real time decide on which type of objection am I hearing. You want to be able to then determine the best response to the objection. We're going to share with you today some really great responses that I've used for 40 years since I was a little boy at Coleman Crest all the way up till just a moment ago before this webinar started, where I'm having to explain and provide responses to objections. The fourth is that you want to always expand at the end of tackling the objection, expand with explaining the benefits of your solution. Whether again, if it's a product or service, you always want to end it on benefits. Benefits are the words that you want to use that describe how it will satisfy their needs. And that's why we talked about needs the first time, the first slide before we got into this presentation. You want to be able to talk about how your product or service is going to satisfy those either personal needs or the business needs. Okay, Josh, we're ready. So let's get into customer objections. The 4 types of objections are, number 1, misunderstanding. When your customer does not have the right information or when they've got the wrong information. Doubt, that's disbelief in your information that you've provided. Indifference, I've got Coke, why do I need Pepsi? Concern is, your prices are too high. They see a negative aspect to your product or service. Let's go into it. Starting off with looking at these 4 different types, we're going to show you on the right-hand side, the techniques that I would recommend on how to tackle these objections. Starting off with misunderstanding. When your customer has the wrong information, you want to do something really unique. Provide the correct information, and then expand with benefits. It might sound kind of simple, but when you get hit with misunderstandings, I've been out there, just like all of you, where you get hit and you're thinking, I thought I said, and it can be quite intimidating. And it really can be difficult because you don't want to insult your customer. But it's very, very important for you to provide the correct information, because if you don't, you won't be able to seal the deal. The next is doubt, disbelief. You want to simply be able to offer proof and back up data. And then you want to expand with benefits. Today versus when I started my sales career, you can get access to proof in seconds. And the best way, Josh and I know this, is that all you have to do is go to Google. Or you may have all kinds of information from just being in the industry that you're in. And either way, you want to be able to always come back when you're hearing your customer say, I don't believe you, prove it, back it up with concrete data and results, especially on things that you've been able to do for other customers, to be able to prove that it works. So you've got good references that if they want to call them, they can call them and they can feel good that your product or solution can truly meet up to what you're talking about. Indifference sees no need for your service or product. What you want to do there is ask open and closed questions to establish the need. Especially you want to start off on, oftentimes when they're indifferent, they don't want to talk. They're like, look, I want this meeting to be over quick. I already have Coke, already have Visa. When I was out selling American Express, they're like, I've got Visa already. When I talk to different companies over in Virginia, they're like, you know what, we're happy. Why do I want to move to Prince George's County? And then what you have to come back with immediately to get them to open up is closed questions. You do want to grow your sales, don't you? Well, yeah. Well, you do want to be able to increase your profitability. Well, of course I do. You do want to be able to make sure that you hold on to your best employees. Well, absolutely. You do have an interest in wanting to reduce your costs, don't you? Well, absolutely. You do want to be able to help you to meet your overall financial picture to where your company is going to be extremely valuable over the next 5 years, don't you? Absolutely. Well, then that's what we're here to talk to you about. And that's why you should consider moving to Prince George's County, or at least opening an office in Prince George's County. That's what I say every single day when I'm out in the market. The last one is concern. That's when the customer sees a negative aspect. Again, that could be price, it could be the packaging, it could be, the colors that you use on your package. It could be just anything that they see as a negative aspect about your product or service. From there, you just want to plow ahead and talk about benefits that offset that negative aspect. It's kind of like a seesaw, where all of a sudden you're like down when you're looking at the concerns, and you want to put on the other side to lift it to where it's balanced. You want to lift that seesaw to where you're doing that by offering compelling benefits of what it will do for their business as well as for them personally. Let's move to the next slides and get into each of these more detailed, Josh. Let's start off with taking a look at tackling misunderstandings. That's, again, when your customer has the wrong information. The first step that we want to do is to clarify the objection. Oh, so what you thought, Josh, is that we were going to meet today. Is that what you're saying? Well, yes, Jim. Well, Josh, last week when we got together, I thought we had said Thursday, and that's why I sent you an email after the meeting to confirm that it would be on Thursday. And so that's why I didn't arrive today, and I will be there tomorrow. And I hope that you can still make it, because if you can, I've got a solution that I think will increase your sales, increase your profitability, and help you to be a cutting edge company. And I really look forward to meeting with you. And can we please lock in on tomorrow at 1 p.m. So what I've done for you is I've clarified the objection. I then provided the correct information, which is Thursday, not Wednesday, but I did it in a very, very respectful way so the customer wouldn't be offended. And then I got back on track by expanding with benefits that if we still meet on Thursday, it was Wednesday, it really is going to make a big difference in your business. And so those are the key steps, those 3 steps that you want to take on misunderstandings. Clarify, provide the correct information, and then expand with benefits for your product or service. Let's move to the next one. Tackling doubt. Your customer doesn't believe you. I don't believe you. This is not going to work. I've never heard anybody using this. Well, you want to clarify the objection. So, Josh, you're saying you don't believe the statistics that I've just shared with you about what my service can do for you in reducing your cost?
No, sir.
Absolutely not. He just said it. Then I want to come back and offer proof and backup data. And the best way I can do that is I'm going to say, Josh, I know that you're a hyper growth technology firm. Most of my clients are in the technology sector, but I want to tell you about a company called Xerox. And they are growing like crazy, and they're in Prince George's County. They have 180 employees. And when I came in with my service, within 1 year, we were able to reduce their time and be able to respond to RFPs by over 40%, which improved their potential of being able to win the deals. And we were able to reduce their cost by 38%. And his name is Chuck Johnson. And here's his phone number. I'd love for you to give him a call today, because what we did for Chuck is the same thing that we want to do for you. I also want to let you know that the big thing that happened after Chuck took on our system of the way we could reduce the cost and improve all those benefits is that Chuck got promoted after a year. He was the manager of IT, and today he's the CTO over there. So what I basically did is I clarified the objection. I provided proof by offering a customer testimonial along with being fierce on saying, here's the phone number, call Chuck. And then I expanded with benefits by talking about what it would do, not only for the company, but it helped to get Chuck promoted. And I'm here, Josh, to help you to get promoted as well. So that's the best way to tackle doubt. Let's move to the next one, Josh. Tackling indifference. Tackling indifference, again, is when your customer sees no need. I've got Xerox. Why do I need your copier? I've got Coke. Why do I need Pepsi? I've got Visa. Why do I need American Express? We hear it day in and day out. I've got a Chevy. Why do I need Ford? I'm in Fairfax, Virginia. Why do I need to move to Prince George's County? We deal with it every single day. Again, you want to clarify the objection. Oh, so what you're saying is that you don't see a difference in Prince George's County and Fairfax, Virginia. Absolutely not. They're both counties. They all have stoplights. They've got roads. Well, you do want to increase your sales, don't you? Well, absolutely. Well, you do want to be able to tap into 14 federal agencies that do $100 billion a year in procurement, don't you? Well, I'd like to. Well, you do have an interest in being able to find new employees to be able to help you to grow your company, don't you? Yes. Well, that's what we could do for you. If you move to Prince George's County, or if you open an office in Prince George's County, we will help to introduce you to 14 federal agencies, because we have these types of events every single month. We've got a big one coming up this coming Friday with the Department of Energy, where they are going to show us how to connect you with over $24 billion in procurement. We also can connect you with our 7 universities and colleges that we have in the county, where between the University of Maryland and Prince George's County, the community college, as well as Bowie State, there are 60,000 brainiacs that go to school there, and they're looking to work for companies like yours. And we know that if you made that move to Prince George's County, we could probably increase your revenue and your profits probably by 30%. And this has happened before, and we'd be glad to introduce you to other winners that have made that decision. What I've done is I've taken you through clarifying the objection. I did ask those key questions. I started off with closed questions. You may want to, if you've got time during your appointment, that if you start off with closed questions just to open them up, then you can go into open questions. So, for instance, a closed question would be, you do want to grow your sales? Well, absolutely. Well, how much do you want to grow your sales by? Well, on our system side, we'd like to grow that revenue by 20%. On the development side, we'd like to grow that by 30%. And then we've got a new product, a new application that's coming out where we would like to get, in the first year, probably 10,000 users. So that's what we're looking at. And what I mean by that is that if you ask them open questions, they're going to talk more. So that's going to help them to really start to figure out, wow, I really do need to talk to Jim Coleman. I'm kind of selling myself on this. And then all of a sudden, you're coming right back on the third step of explaining the benefits of how you can help to satisfy their needs by your product or your service. So that's tackling indifference. I love tackling objections. What else do we have in there, Josh? I think this is the last one on tackling concern. And this is when your customer, again, sees a negative aspect of your product or your service. Again, you want to clarify the objection. Oh, so you think our price is too high? Well, you got that right. The people that we've got in here right now, they're buying it at, right now, I'm buying this. This is an example, when I was at Pepsi, not Pepsi, but Oscar Mayer and Company. Oscar Mayer bacon, for any of you out there who enjoy bacon as much as I do, it is the absolute most expensive, Lori, right? Got my partner over here, Lori Valentine. I know that Oscar Mayer bacon is probably the most expensive per pound in the supermarket. But I'm telling you, number one, it is good. Mm-hmm. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, it's better than store brand.
That's right. It's better than store brand. And when I would go into restaurants and retail restaurant chains, I would get hit with this, because they would say, first of all, your product's too expensive. We've got this other bacon on over here. And at the time when I was selling Oscar Mayer bacon, they would say, I'm paying $1.19 a pound, which today has gone way up beyond that. And Oscar Mayer at the time was like $3 a pound. And they could not understand, how could our product be 2 to 3 times higher than what they were buying? And I would love it when they would say this, because they thought it was a negative aspect and thought they had me. But what I would come back with is that I would provide them with benefits to help offset the negative aspects. And what I would do from that is I would share with them how, so when you cook that pound of bacon that you currently buy that's private label, how much do you actually have after you've cooked it? They would say, well, you cook it, the yield on it's going to be probably about 40%, because most of it's fat. You're exactly right, Bob. And that's what Oscar Mayer bacon is all about. Oscar Mayer bacon is all lean. We don't sell fat. And so if you cook a pound of Oscar Mayer bacon, you're going to get about a 90% yield, which means what you cook is pretty much what you bought. and what you can consume for your customers. And it's going to taste good. It's going to always have the right flavor. It's going to be consistent. And on top of that, it's going to look great on the plates of food that you send out there to your customers. Now, if you continue to stick with your private label brand, you are really paying more because you're only getting 40% of the yield. And essentially, instead of $3 a pound, you're paying $6 a pound. Now, and then I would go into the expanding with the additional benefits. What I'm here today essentially to tell you is that if you buy Oscar Mayer bacon, even though when you look at it on a per pound basis, the purchasing side, we certainly are $3 a pound, and our competition's at $1.20. But overall, when you cook it, your yield on Oscar Mayer is going to be 90% versus your yield on the private label is going to be only 40%. As a result, you're going to improve your profitability. You're going to satisfy the needs of your customers who are coming to your restaurant. They're going to keep coming back because they're not going to feel like you're taking advantage of them. They're going to love the look of the actual bacon on the plate, and you're going to have repeat business. But bottom line is that you're going to get a better return on your investment. They would love it, and I would sell pounds, millions of pounds of bacon by using that and tackling that type of concern. So, Josh, that kind of wraps it up. I think we're just about there.
We're just about there. I'm going to check and see if there are any questions.
All I want to say is best wishes and keep on tackling objections in 2017.
Before I check the question, I do have a question for you. Are you sure that you don't still work for Oscar Mayer?
Well, I am. I wish I were an Oscar Mayer manager, but now I'm happy that I am a manager at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation.
Any questions over here? It doesn't look like we have any questions. However, if you ever have any questions about what we're doing here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, about how you can expand your business, or if you know someone who's looking for a job, please give us a call at 301-583-4650. And that is the best way to get in contact with us here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. And you know what, Mr. Coleman, I want to thank you so much for kicking off this executive series. It's not every day that you get to have your CEO come in and do a webinar, and I want to thank you for finding a couple minutes to hang out with us and hang out with the Webinar Wednesdays crew.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you for everything you're doing.
No problem. So we're going to go ahead and end this in just a moment. And again, if you have any questions about the EDC or how you can expand your business, contact us. We can be reached at the pgcedc.com, and we're also all over social media. You can use those same 6 letters, PGCEDC, to follow us and to get in contact with us. Thank you. Have a great day.